Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Appreciate you jumping on. Is Satoshi's identity going to be revealed today in London? Stay tuned. Let's take a look at pricing first. Bitcoin up slightly, sitting at 71,859 in the past 24 hours. It is hanging on above 70,000 this week, folks. Great to see. Ethereum sitting at 2,619, down 2% over the last 24 hours. Solana down 0.5%, sitting at 173, and XRP down less than 1%, sitting at 51, almost 52 cents. So let's jump in to some news to see what's going on out there in the world of crypto and the new financial industry. And the first one here from Altcoin Daily, breaking: Satoshi Nakamoto, founder of Bitcoin, to reveal his identity. There's a press release here. It goes through what's going to happen, the event details: October 31st, 11:30, the venue, the Frontline Club, Norfolk Place, Paddington, London. It says a live demonstration will be conducted during the press conference, conclusively proving Nakamoto's status as the creator of Bitcoin. The event promises to be the most significant moment in the history of cryptocurrency. Goes on to say there's limited availability for media, etc., etc. So let's face it, folks. This is probably a bunch of BS and will be a big fat nothing burger. But hey, it's entertainment. That's what they're looking for. So I'm sure we'll get more news on that and realize that it, in fact, was not true. Moving on, Lori reports here. It says, reminder, this is why you invested in XRP. Let's take a listen to Lori's latest comments.
So David Schwartz just said something that a lot of XRP holders really needed to hear right about now. First, I want you to listen in to what was said at Ripple Swell.
Process of building a asset agnostic payment system where you can put any form of fiat in, any form of crypto in, anywhere in the world, and the receiver can be anywhere in the world and receive any type of crypto or any type of fiat that they would want.
Do you realize how monumental what he just said is? So Schwartz just took to X and said that nothing moves on the XRP ledger without XRP. This highlights the significance of XRP on the ledger and assuages the concerns of traders surrounding its utility and its future use. Ripple also made several announcements about its stablecoin, RLUSD, during the annual flagship conference, Swell 2024. Since then, XRP holders have flagged their concerns surrounding the token's utility. This should be all everybody needs to know. Just trust that XRP is going to do exactly what you want it to do. You just need to let the foundation settle. We are in infancy stages, folks. This is just the beginning. You've got to have patience with this.
So, per Ripple and David Schwartz, XRP is going to be needed to move things around on the XRP ledger. RLUSD is coming out any time now. And the SEC, by the way, has just asked Ripple to consider alternative solutions to its case against the SEC. It's almost like they've opened a window for Ripple to make some kind of, whether it be a concession or some kind of other offer that can get the case settled sooner rather than later. Could that have something to do with RLUSD? We'll find out, and hopefully in the very near future. Mr. Man comes in here. He says Stripe currently has the largest purchase in the industry to date, buying Bridge. Check this out. Remember back in April when Stripe started accepting payments in XRP? I do. Now you do as well. It says here, Stripe enters crypto payments by accepting XRP as payment. and they just made the biggest acquisition in cryptocurrency history when they purchased Bridge. Obviously, other connections too, as well as with Visa and Stripe, etc. So the stablecoin will be huge there with RLUSD. Moving on to Fersan from Black Swan Capitalists. He says, breaking the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements, just released a document detailing a private-public collaboration, on a unified ledger protocol for cross-border payments within a two-tier monetary framework. The BIS has consistently spotlighted only XRP and XLM for this role for a level playing field. And here posted an article and graph from the BIS and highlights the project builds on the unified ledger concept proposed by the BIS. It will investigate how tokenized commercial bank deposits can seamlessly integrate it with tokenized wholesale central bank money on a public-private programmable core financial platform. What does that sound like? It sounds like the XRPL, with the goal of enhancing the functioning of cross-border payments. That's what Ripple does. The aim is to provide new solutions using smart contracts. Ripple is engaging in smart contracts, and RLUSD can be used across platforms between XRPL and Ethereum. Smart contracts and programmability while maintaining the two-tier structure of the monetary system. Project Agora is structured as a public-private collaboration facilitated by the Bank of International Settlements and the Institute of International Finance. Brought to us by Bretton Woods. Great find there by Fersan, and a reminder that XRPL does all of this. Tony Edwards here from Thinking Crypto Podcast says stablecoin legislation is coming, ! As he retweets from Watcher.guru, and it says just in, U.S. Treasury says crypto stablecoin growth is increasing demand for Treasury bills. Stablecoin legislation could very well get passed this year, folks. So be ready. And we already know some of the partners that Ripple has, and one of them is Uphold with the RLUSD. Coming in from Kyle Chase, he says, holy shit, U.S. Treasury drops a 17-page bombshell report on digital assets and tokenization. Of course they have. We see things moving in that direction. They have to get something out. They know what's coming. They know Congress is going to approve stablecoins. They know there's going to be the RLUSD along with Circle, and Tether's under investigation from the U.S. government. They've got to get this out. They've got to make people aware. Now only if the SEC, I guess it's time to get rid of Mr. Gensler and make that clear things up there on the SEC side as well. So I will look into this Department of Treasury report and try to get the juicy stuff out for you guys. More on that later. Coming in from Nick Fields here, he says Ripple XRP co-founder Chris Larsen explains Evernote. That's the world where I think you could see 1 billion times 1 billion transactions, Chris Larsen said. With Evernote XRPL, you can both use programming language and you can use a form of the ledger. Let's take a listen to this old clip from Chris Larsen talking about the future of money and technology.
With Codius, you can both use any programming language and you can use any form of ledger. So whether it be a distributed ledger, decentralized ledger, whether it be PayPal, centralized ledger, Chase, whatever, we think those smart contracts should be able to tie anything of value from any counterparty or non-counterparty. So that's a kind of a fundamental foundation of it. But what that should do then is allow, to your point, the idea of autonomous agents. So a good example would be, today the only kind of autonomous agent that can exist is basically a virus, which is usually having to do bad things to support itself. Originally, there was an idea behind viruses was that you'd have benevolent viruses, and we think with things like autonomous agents that can think of a program that can exist in the wild and kind of have a bank account. again, an application cannot go to Chase and open a bank account, which means it can't support itself. It can't take in payments from customers. It can't hire developers to improve itself. And something like Codius would allow that to happen. So you might have a world where you have benevolent agents running around that could actually be antibodies for viruses. That would be one example, taking the place of antivirus companies. You could have an autonomous agent that would be like an Uber, where you wouldn't need Uber. You'd have a direct sort of connection between the customer and the driver. That driver actually could be eventually a self-driving car. What gets really interesting there is you could theoretically eliminate profit margins because autonomous agents don't need to make profit. So these things will have a lot of, obviously this is in the future a bit, but this is real now. You can do this all today, and you'll see a lot of new tools coming out. But that's the world where I think you could see 1 billion times 1 billion transactions a day, if you're really going into a world of an internet for value with smart agents. So we shouldn't be talking about technology that replaces existing payment numbers. We should be talking about a world like the Internet of Information, where you see just exponential increases in the amount of value being transmitted.
Appreciate you jumping on. Do me a favor, hit the like, subscribe button. Follow me on X at Orlando Mott, and we will see you on the flip side.